Today in class we learned about area and perimeter, so we're going to find the area of a given shape, the perimeter of a given shape, and then we're going to compare the area and perimeter of shapes. So perimeter, remember, is the distance around a flat object. So we're going to go around the object to find a perimeter. The area is the amount of space inside the boundary of a flat object. So we have our flat object and we're trying to find the area, which is the amount of space inside. So we're going to fill that area. So for a rectangle we have a shape like this. To find the perimeter you can either take 2L's, because these two are the same and those are the same, plus 2W, or simply you can just add all the sides. The area is length times width, and then our example, I'm going to give you a rectangle like this. To find the perimeter, we know the opposite sides are equal, so we would take 5 plus 2 plus another 5 and another 2 to get 14, and if we had feet here, this would be feet. Our area, we take 5 times 2, our length times our width, and we get 10 feet squared. For our square, I have a square here and I put S. It looks almost like a rectangle, but when I initially had it, all sides were the same. So I put an S because all sides are the same. And to find the perimeter, you can take 4 times S, or again, like the other one, you can add all the sides if you don't want to use that formula. Our area is sides squared, and I'll give you, I don't want to use 4, let's use 3. An example here, to find the perimeter we would take, all the sides are the same, so 4 times 3, let's say this is inches. 4 times 3 will give us 12 inches, and then to find the area we take 3 squared to get 9 inches squared for the area. Our parallelogram looks like such. My kids like to think of it as a rectangle that's been pushed over, and we talk about the base has to be perpendicular to the height, so they have to form a right angle, and if not, then they aren't the base or the height. So to find the perimeter, we're just going to add all the sides. There's not a formula here to use. And for the area, it's your base times your height, as long as your height is that value that's perpendicular to the base. So for our example, I'm just going to make these numbers up. So for our perimeter, we would take, there's 2 sides that are 4 and 2 sides that are 5, so we get 18. And if this were an M here, this would be meters. To find the area, we use the base and the height. And I'm using 5 and 3 because 3 is perpendicular to the 5. So 5 times 3 is 15 meters squared. A triangle can look differently than this one does, but what you want to notice here also is that our height here we've drawn is perpendicular to the base. So to find the perimeter, we just add all the sides. They most likely won't be the same. And to find the area, we take base times height divided by 2, and you can write it like this. Or you can have half your base times your height. Either way you want to write that. I find that most kids prefer to use that method there. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to draw a triangle. And let's say that this is 5, 4. We'll say that this is 6. And this is about 7, we'll call it. It's not exact, but that's alright. We'll just use it for our purposes here. To find the perimeter, you take the 5 plus the 6 plus the 7, and you'll get 18. And if we had millimeters as our unit, then this would be millimeters. Our area, we're going to take our base. In this case, it would be 6 times our height, 4, because those are perpendicular, divided by 2, gives us 12 millimeters squared. Alright, 2 more. We have a trapezoid, and this is my trapezoid here. A couple things about your trapezoid is you have bases that are parallel, and they aren't the same, so we should call that one base 1 and the other one base 2. And the height has to be perpendicular to both bases. Alright, for the perimeter you'll just add all your sides, and for the area you take half the height times base 1 plus base 2, or again this is the formula most kids like to use, where we just divide by 2 instead of multiplying by a half, but it's the same concept. So now these probably aren't right, I'm just going to put numbers to them. Let's call this 4 and 5, and the top one 8, let's use 10, and the top one 7. So to find the perimeter, we're going to add all those sides. That gives us 26, and if this said yards, then this would be yards. For our area, we're going to take our height. In this case it would be the 4 times base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2, and that will give us 140 yards squared. Actually, I think I have that wrong. Hold on. Let me say that again. You take 7 plus 10 to get 17, times 4 is 68, and you divide that by 2 to get 34. I multiplied those, so don't do that. That's a common mistake made. Alright, circle is our last one. So here's our circle. Mine looks more like an egg, but that's because of my computer. Anyway, this D represents our diameter. Remember that the diameter goes all the way across the circle. Halfway is the radius.
Connor Timothy, Riley Larson.
Sorry about that interruption. Okay, so instead of calling it perimeter, we call it circumference. It's the same idea. It's all the way around the circle. And we have 2 formulas. We can either take our diameter times pi, or we can take 2 times r times pi, because 2 times r is the same as the diameter. Our area is pi r squared. So if we have a circle, and I'm going to say we have a radius of 4, then to find the circumference, we take 4 times 2 to get 8. And I'm going to leave it in terms of pi and just write 8 pi, but you could always multiply that out in your calculator and get a decimal. For the area, we take 4 squared, which is 16 pi. And again, I'm just going to leave that in terms of pi, but you could multiply that in your calculator and get something bigger than 48. Okay, example 1 says that the width of a rectangle triples. How does it affect the perimeter? How does it affect the area? Okay, on this last one, I'm going to go ahead and probably just draw a rectangle. Let's say that it is 1 by 3. It says if the width triples, and I'll call this one, let's change, instead of going by 1 by 3.
Sarah Robinson.
Sorry about that interruption. Let's say it's 2 by 3. And let's call this the length. So if the width triples, what impact will it have? So that means that this 2 will become a 6. And how does it affect the perimeter? Well, to find the perimeter of our smaller rectangle, we add all of our sides. So 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 3 is 10. And the perimeter over here, we have 3 plus 3 plus 6 plus 6. and that's 18. So we can see that the perimeter is bigger in this case by 18. How is it impacted? So our area is 2 by 3 here, which gives us 6. And our area here is 3 by 6, which is 18. So we can see that it is 3 times bigger. So with the area, we can actually come to a better conclusion that the area will be 3 times bigger. All right, good luck with your assignment. It's 10-1, area and perimeter.